It's pretty awesome. As a disclaimer, this is my research, my investigatory, exploratory, nature-seeking, trying to understand the ways that life works, but simply observing, just observing. And I've been experiencing my own particular connection to the elements for these last number of years, and I've found my circumstance described in the prophecy, because God has led me to it. And everything in the world wants to shut down this conversation, the real conversation that I have to have. Everything wants to try to intimidate from having this conversation. So, for example, I've had to uncover the evidence of my circumstance. I've had to uncover, do the investigation once my daughter was kidnapped, and I knew that I was onto the family. I was onto them. Well, I uncovered it throughout these years, and so what my genetic novelty was kept secret from me. And so what I've determined is that I've found information that shows that I'm chipped, like that it's capturing my information. And I was able to even validate that because I was looking at the information, and I was in an apartment where someone threw something at me twice, and it identified it in this particular cache of information connected to the genetic profile. So I've determined a lot of scientifically verifiable information about my genetics, and it's a long story. It's a very intricate, comprehensive case. It ultimately is documenting the fuckery going on in the world. Okay, you guys, that's the purpose of what I wanted to talk about tonight. It was not my case. What I wanted to talk about was the science. Like, look at this in the sky. Okay, so like people in today's scientific day and age are extremely and uncomfortably pragmatic, Socratic is what they call it. And it's absolutely foul in my opinion, because what I notice them continuously doing is ignoring to look closely at anything. They think with their mind, not with their eyes. And the way that I understand it to work is it starts with my eyes. Like, could you imagine not having eyes? You wouldn't be able to analyze anything. It's one thing to not be able to see the colors. It's one thing to not be able to see where you're walking or drive a car. It's another thing to not be able to analyze paperwork or in an environment. Look for nuances, catch gestures, right? These are things that eyes really help us out with. So that's one thing to recognize. Give some credit to our eyeballs. Isn't this amazing? This is the science. There's celestial things going on in the skies, and they tell us things because it's the way that the lens works. So I've been documenting just phenomenon is really what it amounts to. But lately, it's been extra special, and it's because according to the information, it's referred to as when the sun is prostrating up to the throne. And I've documented it for now a couple weeks. It's almost a couple weeks. What looks like the sun, the sun looks like it's a throne. Like the way that the plasma moves and is in the sky through these cameras, it looks like a throne. I've got many different pictures of it, and it's really awesome. So that's this thing described as the sun prostrating up to this throne. And so it's connected to, other things that have been said in the prophecy about those times and those celestial events. Well, I think it's noteworthy, It's noteworthy to note that stuff. It's important for us to look in the sky. It's important for us to know that that's the basis of everything. Like when we were humans, before books, before stories, before history, before any of that, we looked at our elements. And the reason is good, because God gives us these heads up. Yeah, God does. God's so awesome like that, and that's what I've come to understand. God's telling us, what we need to know when we need to know it. Isn't that awesome? Like, imagine being there. Like, what is this thing that's so bright? My God. It's like Really awesome bright stuff over there. What the hell is going on over there? Well, no, you got to see. I mean, these cameras. This is crazy. I mean, this. It looks like a heaven ship, and it's just not a joke. Where'd it go? Yeah, just a heaven ship, like that the sun's coming out of or something. It almost looks like. This guy was a jerk. He moved the camera because it got good. It got real good. Yeah. Look at that. Oops. Really slow. Yeah, it's like, And the atmosphere, you know, it's not impossible for it to do this stuff. And it's tall. It's very high up there. Like these formations, like I've caught photographs of them above and around my house. But again, there's an airport nearby, so I can see how high up a plane is when it's coming into landing. And it goes all the way below it, but the cloud looks really close, but it's not. It's really huge. It's all the way up there. It's projected. I don't know. There's some function of the atmosphere that acts like a projector, and the way that, like, the shape of it, you know, the convex and concave lenses, they do things with, like, magnifying or microscoping. So I'm pretty sure that the lens aspect of our atmosphere does the firmament. I know it does something like that. Like, so that way, like, this, it seems like the sun could beam light and pass it from lens to lens. That's what I would almost imagine. If it's far away, I almost imagine like the container of these planets or whatever objects they are, because of the central source concept of my theoretical cosmology. The central source that travel happens through the aperture, the center of it. It's supported by, you know, watching the plasma from the SOHO satellites and such. It looks like there's plasma, you know, shapes that come out of there. So it gets you thinking. And that goes hand in hand with the cosmology theory of mine, with the camera obscura cosmology. And so that is the apertures, just like the sun is basically like a hole to the other side of space, where it's permalite type thing. And so if the Earth has a hole in it, which has been suggested, I don't know. I haven't flown around the thing. But maybe there's a function of this center source, and then the hole, and then like the atmosphere functioning like as some kind. It seems like that could, I don't know, account for something. But it's worth noting that these clouds form from what I've noticed similar shapes when I've looked at the SOHO satellites, and it's like, I wonder if that's because it's being projected from that plasma to inside of this contained atmosphere. Theoretical. That's what's so much fun about it. I'm allowed to get theoretical. Here we go. Yep, steering. Hello. So beautiful. If you're familiar with the Bugosphere, it's got those shapes, the written shapes on it. We've got to admit that our civilization doesn't act like it's very intelligent when it pretends like it doesn't want to admit my answer to is there alien life, I'd say absolutely. There absolutely, certainly, positively is. Do we have evidence of it? No. But is it? There has to be, is my answer. It has to be. That's a smart answer. My answer would be nothing less than I absolutely, as I would expect it, I would expect it. So that's my answer. That sounds pretty accurate to me. But they don't want to do it. And that's just lame, because that just tells you the way that their mentality is. Whoever's running the show, their mentality is very much so about presenting things. So it's a facade. They don't want to present it that way because, I don't know, somewhere in their mind, that's what I noticed. Okay, so our eyeballs, really important, right? Okay, so the way that the light comes into our eyes, they say, like, your eye flips it around or something. They try to describe this way that the eyeballs see it. Well, I was talking about that with ChatGPT, and that's a conversation that's real interesting. But I think that the truth of the matter is that we need to mentally, consciously, our perception right back up. Because I noticed that what seems to be the truth, what society seems to represent as the standard, what do they say? It's like business as usual. It's actually the opposite of the truth perception, but it's so close. But it needs to be flipped right back up, and it's so close. But we need to get it closer. We need to get it onto the truth, and that's why society needs to be prepared for a little bit of change, in what they think. Status quo. That was the word I was looking for. The status quo is not helping anybody get anywhere. So we just need to be prepared for new, like this. Like if I'm like, this is the muck will follow my ass into my channel because I'm shadow banned. So I only have citizen scientists that fuck with me. But they're like, what are you looking at? What are we looking at? And they'll try to like be a jerk. It's like, so you have no color. You have no color in your mind. You don't appreciate this on any level. No, they're just sitting there trying to like profile you and call you names and identify you as someone that sees things in things. No. They're the psychopaths that spend their time trying to do that stuff, and it's not even getting good data. But do you guys know that we're being socially profiled? Do you know that we're being socially engineered? Do you know that we're being behaviorally modified? Do you know that genetic science is not even playing in a petri dish for the most part? It's behavioral. Do you know that? Well, you should. And they'll set you up and frame you and curate information based on other information. They'll fabricate it all. So it's criminals with a job for an excuse. That's what it is. And they believe their observations. They think they know what they're looking at, but they don't. They don't. They not only don't know what they're looking at, they don't know how to look. They don't know how to see what's right in front of their faces. Well, what are you looking at? What are you not looking at? Hello? What's wrong with your eyeballs? I think your brain's getting in the way. So what did society lose when it erased the mother? When it erased the divine feminine? When it erased the mother? When it defrauded the mother and falsely inserted father and son? This is not religious, ladies and gentlemen. This is scientific. We get our bloodline from our mother. That's scientific. It's not religious. Religion is the business of the deception, the deceiver. The deceiver created this religion to come up with excuses for their nonsense, their child rape, their child marriage, their child sacrifice. all that nonsense. They use religion to be their cover story. But bloodlines are a scientific thing. It's got nothing to do with the father. The father, it's not even 50-50, you guys. The woman's body imprints onto the second strand. Pardon me. Wow. Yeah. It's something else. They'll be like, what are we looking at here? Well, what does it look like we're looking at here? People don't want to look close enough, and they're missing half the stuff. And they assume that they know what they're talking about. So they don't inquire. They don't ask questions. That's these citizen scientist types. They're basically gamblers, that went to work to find another way to do that. Prediction modeling, jumping to conclusions, making observations, inputting so-called markers of the beast system. Those are behavioral markers. Go ahead and be a citizen scientist, and you're asking for it. That's meddling with the midst of the garden. You're not supposed to judge anybody. And these things, these beast systems, are not there to do any real good science. They're there to death profile everybody. That's what they've built. They've got the information backwards. They determined since I was born with the third strand, it's the Jesus genes. But again, Jesus doesn't carry a bloodline. So it's not Jesus' bloodline. Jesus is a male. It comes from the mother. Oops. So I know what my genetic profile information is. They committed medical malpractice to steal another fetus and to steal that tissue and to try to kill me with chemo. They destroyed my womb. This is to steal my genetic information and ignore it and pretend like it doesn't matter. To pretend like it's not important. But that's because they've made trillions of dollars on it. So they're actual pieces of shit. But I found the information where they committed loss of function and gain of function research on me and my daughter. So what am I talking about? In the genetic database, it's going to look like these are just numbers and pieces of information. No, those are people. Those proteins are people. And the things that they're describing, like systems, biological systems, no, those are front operations for how they talk shit on us. Yeah. And use their computer to do it too. I found there the loss of function, gain of function. So they determined with me, the loss of CHTOP, that's child to protein, is my daughter. Loss of it would be certain death, all the way down. Certain death, yeah. And then that's when they heisted my daughter. I have evidence on the record, their record, that's what they did. And then at some point they did a gain of function experiment. And I'm terrified to find out my daughter's brain has been plugged into a computer. They've been who are they going to do their research for memory wiping? Who are they going to do their research on? Memory wiping. Well, that's what that whole transgender movement was for. They needed to get their hands on some fresh wombs so they could practice some more. Because they've been trying to make the male Messiah. Because they know that the Christ carrier is a woman. They don't want the world to find out about it. So they've been trying to kill me this whole entire time. Oh my God, that is gorgeous. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Whoa. I did not see this. Whoa, like it is dark back there. Like what's going on? Whoa, I am floored right now. Holy God. And it took me forever to figure it out. Wow. Whoa. That is something else. Oh my goodness. God, you are something else. I love you so much. That is something else. I mean, it's a land in here. It is. So we'll be careful. These are social engineer people. So they'll do things like pretend to be a celebrity, right? There's these imposters out there. Those, you guys, that's their job. They're working for social engineering, department, basically, to profile people, to categorize people, classify people, come up with some more markers of the beast, so they can do whatever they want to do to them. They just got to dial it in to the system, the kill code. So if they don't like you, they'll kill you through the system. Something will happen, and then something will happen, and then something will happen, and next thing you know, no one wants to talk to you, including your family, and you're just being left for dead. That's the kill code. And it results in landing in the trash can of human trafficking, being human trafficked until you're dead. And they love it. That's their business. It's absolutely disgusting. That's why the law system doesn't work. That's why none of it works. It's because they get the wrong ideas. That's why God is showing up, is my point. These scientists, citizen scientists, pragmatic Socratic thinkers aren't helping themselves by behaving so foolish as to ignore and deny nature and God right in front of us. You can call it God, you can call it whatever you want to call it. These guys call Satan God, so obviously anything goes. But my point is if you can't pay attention and see with your eyeballs that, and look closely, not you, but anyone, these people want to talk shit on anything that is natural. What happened with COVID? Remember, they were talking people out of. They didn't want to tell anybody to do anything natural. It's an experiment, a social engineering experiment. Now, I don't know who in their right mind would do things like that for work, but they were clearly insane to think that there's. Well, they've talked themselves out of rational thinking. Any scientist that thinks God is not supposed to be part of it doesn't understand what's going on here. The creator is obviously here. I can't create this. That's evident then. And so they think that they think really clearly, but they don't, you guys. Look at this. Look at it. It's being magnified from some other dimensional realm. It's from some other dimensional realm that's coming in through this this projection screen. No joke. What is this doing up here? I have no idea. It's totally letting me in. No problem. Wow. Yeah, it's just letting me in. I love it when you do that, kitty. There's something else. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Hold on a second. I have got to get this. No joke. Please. Yeah. Okay, nice. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now my computer is stuck. Yay. Guess I'm gonna call it a day right now because I'm gonna start up again. See you.